Welcome everyone, TheDailyWoo here as the recording of this Sunday, January 23rd. In today's adventure, I will be meandering around what is known as Pawleys Island, the community of Pawleys Island, the oldest seaside resort in America. According to the sign, the Hammock is their mascot. Now it is not raining. The trees are providing the precipitation because the ice is melting. Is currently 34 degrees, and I am thankful it's going to get up to into the low 40s, around 40 degrees today, which in comparison to how it's been the last couple of days is quite warm. Now take a peek behind this sign. There is an abandoned homestead or store structure back here in the woods. Now I don't want to go too close because this ice is falling from the limbs of the tree. When I mentioned I was in this area, quite a cumulative amount of people said, you need to go over to Pawleys Island and talk about and show and witness with your own eyes the urban legends of south of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It's probably about a half hour south, give or take. Give or take a mile. Let me flip this around. I'm inviting you. I'm excited about this. Something new, learn something new every day. Urban legends. I don't do much of those, but today I am. Join me. I'm just also going to kind of go around the island. Join me. Shall you? It is. That ice is melting good. Melting real good. A very tiny, piping hot caffeinated beverage. They were out of cream. A little bit of sugar, but no cream in there. This is the oldest hardware store in town, known as Pawleys Island Supply. And that's where I got the coffee. And I'm going down the North Causeway Boulevard or North Causeway Road to the first spot. This is only probably, I don't know, 8 ounces. It's a good start. Just cross the Linwood Altman Causeway. Now there's a sign before you go over the bridge that I started the intro at. And then there's also this one that says it's the town limit. Also, the little cup of coffee I got, there was no charge. They just gave it to me complimentary. Because it is a hardware store, even though they have fuel and sell hardware, they do have a coffee machine. But I think it's just for customers. But I went in and said, you got coffee? They said, here you go, here's a little cup of coffee. Thanks to the hardware store here in Pawleys Island. Notice how long these docks are. They go way out. Like a couple hundred yards out there into the water. This is not the ocean side. The ocean side is on the opposite. I'm looking out the passenger side window, but out the driver's side window are homes, and each one of the homes has one of these 100-yard docks. It's like the size of a football field, stretching way out there into the marsh. And even though it is a Sunday, as I'm recording this, the Pawleys Island House of Worship must not be utilized by a congregation anymore. This is a fantastic structure right here on the water. It is elevated by the wood planks that hold it up. In 1946, the Georgetown Ministerial Association resolved to erect a place for worship for summer residents. So obviously there's some snowbirds from up north that live down here in the summer. Well, that wouldn't make any sense. A snowbird would be up here in the winter. Scratch what I said. Partnering with the local evangelistic club to secure a building. And it was built and incorporated in 1947. And that is what this is. And it does say continued on the other side. So just kind of browsing the other side. It has survived. There's not a lot on this island. A lot of the houses have been destroyed in a couple of major hurricanes. But this one has survived. Hazel, which was in 1954, and then Hugo, which packed quite a punch back in '89 to this area. But this managed to still stand after both of those storms. This is not right on the water. This is on the road that runs between the beach, behind the houses that are right on the beach. So it's just directly behind those houses. So the beach would be, as I just turned around to look at these homes, those are the beach houses. You can kind of even hear the roar of the waves. So right on the other side of that berm of those homes is the ocean. Drove about a block down the way. In fact, you can see that structure along the water I was just at down there, about a block or so away. But under this tree, also I should point out this tree, looks like something you'd see in a Tim Burton film. Very unique looking tree that is raining down ice, melted ice from its branches. Just standing underneath there, you get plunked on the noggin by some ice cold water in the form of ice. Alston Causeway was named after Robert Francis Withers Alston. It's an unusual, it's a lengthy name, and Withers, I don't think I've ever met any name named Withers. But there was a bank on the corner of the mainland that Alston owned. And continued around the other side, possibly? Nope, still says the same thing on the other side. The Causeway and contiguous property? I'm not familiar with that word. Remained in the Alston family till 1901. Contiguous. The Causeway and contiguous property. I keep wanting to say continuous. Another very iconic historical structure that still stands undamaged by the hurricanes is the Pelican Inn, a source of many urban legends and a couple of ghost stories, if you will. Anyone from this area, in the Myrtle Beach area, especially down here on Pawleys Island, will tell you the tale of the Gray Man. Now there's a lot of different opinions and stories and hearsay and rumors about who the Gray Man is that wanders the beach warning its residents here on Pawleys Island that there is a storm rolling through. But one of those said legends was someone here at the Pelican Inn. A couple different stories, but one of the main ones stated it was at the Pelican Inn. The Gray Man. There's been a lot of newscasts on it over the years. Hugo, I think, was the big one, where there was an elderly couple who was warned by the Gray Man, as the story goes, and their home was saved. And there's another story of other residents that was told to leave. I'm going to go over there and read this sign in a minute. They were told to leave, and they did, and it saved their life, thanks to the Gray Man. And some say the Gray Man still wanders along the beach to this day. Some say he started from here. His roots go back to the Pelican Inn. Some say he is a pirate. His face has never been seen, just the shadow of the Gray Man. The PCJ Westonhouse, the Pelican Inn. The land was obtained back here in 1844, and in 1858, the beach house residence was built. Property was sold in 1864 to the Atlantic Coastal Lumber Company. After an ownership change, years later, the house was named the Pelican Inn. It's like a pirate house. You just picture pirates back in the day staying here. Are you imagining the pirates that were here? There's another unique tree over there. There's also another story of a couple of phantom dogs that can still to this day be seen wandering around the beaches that used to live here with a lady that lived here at the Pelican Inn. Hearsay, of course. As the story goes, the dogs were wandering along the shoreline, and there was a youth out walking around, went out into the water, fell on some hard times, started to drown. One of the dogs went into the water, saved the youth, pulled to the shore, but the dog, unfortunately, got a lot of water inside its lungs, passed away. It is said that the dogs can still be seen. These are all interesting stories. Who knows if there's any truth behind it? These are just legends that evolve over years, that are told by one person to the next, and they just become folklore. But those dogs resided here with their owner and can still be seen wandering. They're not the Gray Man's dogs. Totally different story. But those are the two stories from the Pelican Inn. I'm going to go show the beach and then I'm gonna go to another spot that's really fascinating story as well. I was just doing a little more research before pulling away here. I did not realize that Pawley's Island was where the rope hammock was invented and created. That's why their logo is the hammock. Going away from the pelican. I didn't see any pelicans at the Pelican's End, but some fascinating stories. For sure, fascinating stories. One of the other stories about who the gray man could be, back in 1822, was a gentleman traveling along with his fiance in this area and got stuck in a quicksand-like substance and perished. It was soon after that that the gray man first appeared here along the beach, warning of storms. And that continued on up until Hurricane Hugo. And then after Hurricane Hugo, he was seen. But the last time he was seen was in 2018, Hurricane Florence. The gray man can be seen through here. And reading a little more on, I never even heard of the gray man until this week when I was in the area. And a few people mentioned the legend. So I kind of been looking it up, learning something new. And some see him, he has no legs, so no one's seen his face. And no one's seen his legs. Now there's someone walking along the beach. I do not think that is an apparition, that is a real person. That is not the gray man, but there are some birds going by. Yeah, there is a flock of birds. So just picture seeing a ghostly-like creature walking down the beach. That is a human. That is not the gray man. Saying, there's a storm a-brewing. Get off the beach. And then you leave, your life is spared thanks to the gray man. That's the legend. It is beautiful out here. It feels really good. It doesn't even feel like it's low 40s. It feels way warmer than that, probably because the last couple of days it's been in the mid-20s, and the wind chill. There's not a lot of wind. I'm standing right here on the beach. Very pleasant. I could probably take this off and it still be bearable for a few moments. I'm not going to, but it feels good out here. No sign of the gray man. I don't see him. Means there's no storms. The storm is past. Okay, this is interesting. One thing I like about the little historical district here is there's plenty of information. So the Alston house over here, now according to this, in 1989 was raised up on higher wooden beams after Hurricane Hugo struck South Carolina. But the house remained in the family until 1901. It was built in 1846, granted the marsh behind it to him in 1847. So this would be the marsh. Looks like there's been quite a few renovations to this. Being a house that's 150 years old. But they said it was raised up. Maybe when they raised it up, they fixed it up a little bit, or possibly this is a new house. The sign was placed here in 1998, and a lot could change since 98, but it is neat they have these all along this stretch of road. Now this structure definitely looks like it's seen some years and survived some storms. A lot of new homes, but this one, yeah, that looks like one of the originals. The newer town hall is right over there, right before you go back over the causeway to the mainland. But this town hall looks to be the original, called the Shack. Got some seats over there. Could look out across the marsh. Oh, there is a bird out in the marsh. Just ice falling all from the tree still. There's a bird right there. Hello, bird. How's it going? I have found an artistic representation of you, bird. Or at least someone that is kin to you. Right here along this wall. This painting is pretty cool. Check out this fowl. Got himself a fish. Right there, that fish has a startled look on his face. Like, oh, this is not good for me, says the fish. Not good for me. Oh yeah, that's some cold water dripping off that roof. Melted ice. Not only called the Shack, but also referred to as the Jack Bland Building. See right up here. Jack Bland Building. It was a real estate office. And the mayor, okay, the mayor is the namesake. The original building was a real estate office by Mayor Jack Bland. And they remodeled the building, officially a town hall and information center. The late Mayor Bland affectionately referred to it as the Shack. It's a good name. This sign was moved from the old post office on Highway 17. I am not knowledgeable on every subject. In fact, a lot of stuff I just learn when I arrive. So these are very helpful. So I would have never known it was moved from the old post office. In fact, some of the stuff you can't even find when you like do a search online. So it's good that they have some stuff like this, especially some of these small communities. This island, located a half-mile east, was used by plantation householders who lived on the shore from May to November to escape malaria. Interesting. A number of the houses built in 1850, and an academy and a rectory, All Saints Parish, remain. A lot of unique buildings through here. Like this little one that leads out onto like a overlook of a dock, corner of Myrtle Ave and 2nd Street. Someone going by with a boat. Be kind of neat to live in this little area, peaceful. A lot of the residents that helped build this new building, the new town center, are down here in the brick, but I noticed these birdhouses I wanted to show. Oh, there's a turtle down here. Not a real turtle, obviously, but there's a turtle down there. Yeah, I saw these as I was driving by. I thought that's pretty neat. Some little birdhouses. There's a church over here, someone walking their dog going by. There's a church, a barn, another building. Cute little birdhouses. I hear a bird. I hear some birds that might be living in these. So peaceful out here. Oh, this is neat. Pawleys rocks. Take one, leave one, spread some kindness. So you've heard of the give a penny, take a penny. This is a give a rock, take a rock. I don't have a rock to give, but I will show the rocks. In fact, over here are some very decorative rocks. But look at these, there's bricks too, decorative bricks. There's Winnie the Pooh right there. There's a unicorn. Please take only one rock. Take one unpainted one and spread the kindness. So you can take any of these rocks, paint it, bring it back if you want, or keep it, as long as you trade off your rock for that rock. Here's some toadstools. The toads on the lily pads there. There's a shark over there. That's a very creative rock. That's a neat idea. I'm glad I walked over here to see this. Once again, it is not raining. That is just ice melting from the trees. I don't know why I keep reiterating that, but you get underneath these trees, you will get wet. I've driven back over the Causeway, so technically back on the mainland now, still in Pawley's Island, the town of Pawley's Island. But the first thing I see is Haunted Trail. And I am really curious what is down this road. Why is this trail given that name? What is down here? What in the heck is down here? I'm gonna drive down there. Look at this. All the ice melting. It is just downpouring down that trail. It's like a storm, but there's no clouds out. No clouds in the sky. That's different. Okay, I'm gonna drive down this trail. I have to, I'm too curious. Feels like we're in a car wash, doesn't it, Bigfoot? It's like hail or sleet. Oh, there goes an ice chunk. There's a rusted out gate right here. And I see some steam. Is that steam going up from the ground over there? There's a rusted out gate right here. Oh, what the heck? That says The Haunt. I just heard a crow make a noise. That says The Haunt. What am I getting myself into? Where's that steam coming from? See all that steam and that, it's like off of the ground. That's different. All right, I don't know if this might be a private residence back in here. Different. See a headstone over here too. And this could have been left over from Halloween, but that entryway looks permanent. And this headstone looks like it could be a prop, but those other ones look pretty real. This is a residential neighborhood. There's like 4 or 5 houses around me. Weird. Huh. All right, I'm gonna circle around this cul-de-sac and head back out. Just out of curiosity, I looked up the house numbers through here, and the house numbers do coincide. You can search the house number on Haunted Trail in South Carolina in Pawley's Island. That is so interesting. It is a real road, not a themed thing for Halloween or any other type of the year. This is an all-year road. So unusual. Maybe I'm just kind of over blowing it out of proportion, but keep in mind, there are no clouds out. There is not a cloud in the sky right now. This is all from the trees. The Haunted Trail. Pawley's Island. Okay, that was an experience. I am easily entertained, in case you didn't notice. And it's located right next to the Hammock Shops Village. And it says right there. Home of the original Pawley's Island rope hammock, established 1938. The Hammock was invented here. They also have sweater weather styles for you at Affordables Apparel. Sweater weather styles for you at Affordables Apparel. Directly in front of me is the original Hammock shop. That's the one, the original. Still open to this day if you want to buy. I'm not in the market for a hammock, but there's a couple right there on the porch. There's a sign right there that says the original Hammock shop, home of Pawley's Island rope hammock. Once again, it's not raining. It's melting ice from the trees. Drove about a mile or so, mile or two away. Want to show what sign used to be standing right where I am. It has been removed. You can see my shadow. Don't be frightened. Just my shadow. And that sign used to sit right here. And the wooden sign has been replaced by this metal one, but even the writing has been taken off of there. This is the All Saints Parish, dating back to 1767. And there is a new church building just across the road from me. Just off to the side that is just finished for the day, because it is a Sunday as a recording of this. Created out of Prince George Winion Parish in 1767. Continued on the other side. I don't know if I ought to go through the moss here to see. There it is. Sanctuary was built in 1847, but burned in 1915 and was replaced in 1917 by a church replicated the design of a smaller scale, listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1998. Current sanctuary, which is right across the road, a much bigger building a few years after that. Now it does say open 8 a.m. till dark, and it is between those hours. So I should be able to walk in. Let's just see how this opens. Ah, there it is. Very simple, not even a latch. So this is the same writing that used to be on that sign right there. All right, I am looking for the resting place. Well, that is a subject that some agree and some disagree on, of Alice Flagg. Somewhere in here. A interesting urban legend. So much, in fact, that I had to come check it and see it with my own eyes. Now here's another Alice, but this is the middle name. Not the Alice I am looking for, but this is another one. Sacred to the memory of Bentley and Alice Weston. So it was a couple. With the road going by over there, not far off the property. Just to show exactly where Alice is, some say. I will kind of spin around. Now the story of Alice is an interesting one. Alice Flagg fell in love, like many do. But her family did not agree with who she wanted to be with. In fact, her brother was a doctor. Now, I'm just going off of what I have recently read and learned. I'm not a historian by any means. But I would say, as far as this area of South Carolina goes, probably one of the biggest urban legends, or at least stories, folklore stories, that get passed on from generation to generation. Alice's brother was a doctor, and Alice fell sick. And even though her brother said that her and her whole family, but her brother especially, did not want her with the gentleman that she was courting, and she kept it a secret. The ring that he gave her, the love of her life, she kept around her neck, hidden, out of sight, underneath her clothes. And when she became sick, when her brother started taking care of her, he discovered, by doing medical checkup on her, that the ring still existed, or the ring did exist, and that she had still kept seeing who he frowned upon. So So as the story goes, he stopped taking care of her. He did not want to continue watching after his very ill sister. And because of that, she passed away. There's a lot more to it, obviously. But that's the Cliff Notes version, if you will. It's also said out of spite, when she was laid here, she was disowned by the family. And the headstone does not even bear her last name, just Alice. And whatever you believe, no matter what you believe, you have to find it interesting that a storm has blown down this tree upon what some say is her resting spot. Coincidence? Could be. Most likely is. But when I walked over here and discovered that this tree has fallen completely, part of the branch has fallen right between her and her brother, the doctor, who you could thank for her demise for not taking care of her out of jealousy for the man she was dating. Very interesting that this tree branch, huge tree branch, has fallen from the side, split almost as if it was struck by lightning. It wasn't, but you could almost picture it being struck by lightning. Right down and fallen onto her brother's grave. Supernatural anger, all coincidence, but I found it oddly fascinating based on this story. Do your own research. This has been covered by quite a few people, but definitely an interesting legend here. Now you'll also notice that there's not a lot of grass around the side of where Alice is. That's because there is another myth that if you run around a dozen times, 13 times, something like that, I can't remember the number, but if you run around this, she will appear. Don't know if that's true. I'm not going to run around this. It's wet, and it's not really my thing. I'm not going to run around and hope to see Alice. But you can see her last name is not on there. I've also heard that sometimes people will place rings. I've seen photos online of people leave flowers here and they leave rings. Obviously, it's not really the best weather, inclement weather, to be doing that. But because her brother, who is laid over here, when he found out and stopped taking care of her medically, took the ring, ripped it off of her neck, and threw the ring out, either into a river, into the ocean, into a swampy section, and the ring was never found again. So those that want to pay their respects to the legacy of Alice will leave the rings here for her. Right now there's no rings left. Very interesting. Once again, plenty of info out there. But I just wanted to see this. I just wanted to see this with my own eyes. The tree did not fall on any other areas except right where her brother is. Interesting. In fact, this is the entire family plot of Flagg, and you'll see that all of them bear a last name. Flagg. This would be the family plot. The only one that does not bear the last name on the family plot is Alice, over there. Allard Bellin Flagg was the doctor, her brother, here. And this ice storm has taken down this branch, and now he has this branch laying across. So you couldn't even run around that a dozen or more times if you wanted to do the circle around and try that experiment. Now, another interesting thing, after I was researching a little bit more, it has been debunked, if you will. It is said that it is not true. As with anything that over time, you know, becomes like a legend, you'll have those that say that's not true. And they say that this is a different family member. This is not the Alice that everyone says it is. So it's up for interpretation on what you believe on the stories here in South Carolina. Just south of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Pawleys Island. I don't know what the proper etiquette would be. Water's falling on my head, it's cold. Put the hoodie up. Should I move the branch or leave the branch? It's a pretty big branch. I'll probably wait for a caretaker to move it. Plus, I don't know if it's my decision to move this. Especially since it's now laying on the brother's grave with the sister here that he wronged. Yeah, I'm just going to leave this here. I'm going to leave this big tree branch here, which is the size of a small tree of its own. I'm just going to leave it. I thought about moving it, but the more I think about it, that's not for me to do. A tale of heartbreak. And a neat urban legend. And that's going to do it for today. I'll see you in the next video. The vlog is over.